You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
What a beautiful day for horses in the morning.
You are listening to the #1 horse podcast in the world. Here is your entertaining look at the horse world and the people in it.
I am Glenn the Geek from Ocala, Florida.
And I'm Ashley Winch from Great Falls, Montana, and you're listening to Horses in the Morning on the Horse Radio Network for Wednesday, August 12th, episode 4017, brought to you by Chewy. Good morning, Horse World.
You know, I'm not used to hearing Great Falls, Montana yet.
I'm not used to saying it.
And it sounds so pretty, though. I mean, it sounds like, when you say Great Falls, Montana, you just picture mountains and beauty and, you know, you do.
Not a smelting plant on a river, because that's what's here, too.
Oh, nope, don't picture that at all. That's funny. Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks you for joining us today. We have Dr. Mack joining us, who is the founder of the First Responders Veterinary Network. We're going to discuss what that is and how they're trying to integrate veterinary medical personnel into emergency calls, plus the Mongol Derby update. We have a WEG update, and I have later in the show a spam email. We used to do these long before your time, Ashley. We used to do these in the very beginning, before really bad ads was really a big thing. We used to read our spam, and we used to go through, and it was so funny because spam has changed over the years.
Yeah.
Back then, I was getting all Russian women wanting to marry me spam, and the English was so bad, and it was just like doing really bad ads only with spam.
Yeah.
And we used to have so much fun with it, and then really bad ads kind of took over. And I haven't looked at my spam. I don't know if you do, but I haven't looked at my spam in forever. And it used to be when I had a Yahoo account, that spam was great. That was good spam.
Oh, yeah.
Now I get mostly just spam, bad spam. But this one is a classic. So we'll read that at the end of the show. Plus, in the Auditor Post Show, I have a rant. I have good news, and I not have a rant. I just got it. Ashley knows what it is, too, because we've been dealing with it for a week now. All right, we'll talk about that in the post show. So I also wanted to mention that obviously Jamie is out. You all know that she took a quick vacation this week, and she did play roulette at the airport. Airline roulette, and she reached her destination, but she hasn't announced it publicly, so I'm going to let her talk about that when she comes back. But she did play roulette, and it looks like from what text she sent me, she won at roulette. So she did very well at airport roulette. Mongol Derby, we got so much going on. The Mongol Derby and the WEG, and I have updates on both of those. The Mongol Derby, their day is over there now, Mongolia.
Right.
But so they're last night on course right now for the leader. So be a winner tomorrow. Laura Van Laar from the Netherlands had built up a substantial lead yesterday, if you're watching the dots. And she decided to push it. They have a certain time they have to end at end of the day, and they have to stay at a yurt. They have to stay with somebody. That's
right.
Usually a good idea, especially where they are right now is in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So she pushed it to get as far as she could toward the finish line and the next vet station, and there was no yurts. So she had to backtrack, and she had to backtrack quite a ways to find a yurt before she had to retire for the night. And what they do is they watch your dots. And if you're not stationary by the time the end of the day comes, you get a penalty.
Sure.
So apparently she was backtracked, and she found a yurt to stay at with the family then. And this is in the middle of a hilly area. And what she didn't know is that two of her competitors were catching up to her. Daninga, this name is tough, and she's from the United States too. Daninga Feliz Markugard is from the United States. She has the hardest name to say, and she also had a girl from New Zealand with her, Ella Greenslade, and they both now are within striking distance of the leader. So it was pretty much going to be Laura's going to win this thing. And as the Mongol Derby does, things happen. And these two now actually camped out not too far from where the leader is. So it's definitely going to be a race tomorrow to the finish. And it's, a lot can determine this. You pick a bad horse at the next station. Your horse trips in a hole, just anything can cause this finish to change. And it always comes down to the last day. So, and a couple things about Laura, the leader. She's a horse riding trail guide in Macedonia.
Wow.
Yes, so that's what she does. Deninga is an award-winning author here from the United States. She's a wildlife tracker and a lifelong horsewoman and mother of 3 teenagers. And then Ella from New Zealand is a sheep and beef farmer, and she uses she uses. I know, it's just you couldn't make that up. And she works the stock with horses there. They use horses for the stock, so that's where she gets to ride. But she also rode with the New Zealand team and won a silver medal at the 2020 Olympics in rowing.
Man, what badasses.
No. When you read the descriptions of these competitors this year, they are badasses. Now, from what I could tell, the posts are all over the place on the Mongol Derby page sometimes. But from what I can tell, maybe 4 or 5 more dropped out yesterday, mostly from injuries, minor injuries that have caused a problem. So we'll see how it all comes out in the wash over the next couple of days. And Friday, we'll be able to announce a winner. But the other thing that happened over there yesterday in Aachen was the World Equestrian Games started.
Yes, it was so cool.
I know. This is kind of dear to my heart because Samantha and I covered 2 of the World Equestrian Games and did shows about them. So we did 4 years worth of World Equestrian Games coverage, and we got to cover those 2 for all 16 days of the games. And so I kind of like it. It's a soft spot. What started yesterday, on Tuesday, as we record this, was the dressage. And it's happening right now as well. Dressage is going on right now. And the way this works, it's very confusing, but I'll try and explain it as simple as I can. The way dressage works there is all the competitors ride in round 1, and they do a Grand Prix. They all do the same Grand Prix, and that determines the team medals. There's 2 days of that, yesterday and today. So they're all doing those rides right now, and we'll have team medals by the end of the day. What they do is they take the top 30 rides out of those team competition, and they go on to do a Grand Prix special, which is a little bit harder of a Grand Prix. So it's a harder test. And that is going for the individual medals. Okay,
so it's almost like a heat sort of situation.
Correct. Yep. The team medals or the team competition determines who goes on to the individual competition.
Okay.
They ride again for the individual medals. And then they take 15 of those top 30 and they do the freestyle. And that's a different set of medals for the freestyle. But only 15 out of the, 80 some riders get to end up doing freestyle. Yet they all, if you think about it, have to come in prepared.
They all had to have one plan, right?
So I hope I explained that because it's kind of tough to understand how this works, but that's how it works. So the way it stood at the end of day 1, and as I said, they're competing right now as we're recording this, is, of course, Germany is leading.
Of course.
Yeah. They were heavy favorites, and they're leading. Not by much, though, over Denmark. Denmark is in second. Great Britain is in third. So that's how it stands right now as far as team competition, and the individuals will get into that as they get into that. So they did have a really cool, apparently, opening ceremony. I didn't get to see it.
Yes, it was so cool.
Did you see it?
Glenn!
I didn't see it.
Oh my gosh. The girl, she jumps her horse bridleless through this giant circle, reaches up and grabs this big, long, golden cape and gallops around the arena. It was amazing. I don't know how you haven't seen it,
How'd
Glenn.
you watch it? Were you watching it Clip My Horse?
No, I don't clip my horse. Come on. That's
where
my
all the
next
coverage
business
is,
idea. No, I know, but
so it's on Instagram. I didn't know they had it out there.
It's on Instagram. Another really cool clip I saw was, and this is my favorite part about equestrian sport, is that men and women compete against each other directly and that any ages compete against each other. And they highlighted a 71-year-old riding and a 21-year-old riding the same test, like top and bottom. It was so inspirational. It was so cool.
I guess the theme was welcome home, and I think that's a welcome home to Aachen, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And everybody that's ever been to Aachen says it's just spectacular.
Magical, yeah.
And they had 250 horses in the opening ceremony. That's a lot. That's a lot. I think they probably, our opening ceremonies were pretty good, but, I've seen some of the others over the years, and now I'll check this one out. I'll have to take a look. All right, let's get to some Daily Winnies.
From the podcast to the barn, here's some hidden birthday wishes to keep you warm.
I couldn't find any auditor birthdays for today and tomorrow, but I
Don't say that. They're going to yell at you now.
I couldn't find. I looked. But we do have a birthday, and that was Smokey Brenneman, who was on the show with me on Monday.
I love Smokey.
Yeah, so he was on the show on Monday, and it's his birthday today. So happy birthday, Smokey.
I thought about this all morning, and I was really excited to actually have a daily Winnie because this is the hardest part of the show for me for whatever reason. But when was I on with Jamie? A couple weeks ago, I think. And, we talked about my lack of confidence in the saddle after having a baby and becoming a big chicken. And I had so many people reach out and say that it resonated with them. And it was just so nice to know you're not alone. And I had a listener, Kelly Jones, who's our British bridal fitter. We've had her on the show before. She emailed me and said, I had to stop picking poop in the pen to write this email to you. And she sent me a link to a mindset coach in the UK who really specializes in overcoming your fear, regaining confidence after having a child. And her name is Nikki. And I reached out to her earlier this week and she agreed to do a one-on-one with me. So I am going to sit down with her next week and you guys will be able to tune into that conversation in the future. And I'm just really excited to not be a chicken anymore, which I will say I did jump a cross-country fence this week.
Big time.
Yes. Yep. And it was fun. I did it twice. So she's coming back, but Jamie's voice just echoes in my head. Just have fun. It doesn't just do what you want to do. There's no pressure. And so I'm just really excited that, that vulnerability resonated with so many of you. And I'm really excited to share my interview with Nikki.
Over the years, many, many, many listeners asked why, when I was driving seriously, why I didn't compete. And I didn't want the pressure.
Yeah.
I just didn't want it. I wanted to do this for fun and leave it for fun. I had enough pressure in my life. I didn't, with work, I didn't want.
Right.
I didn't want it, and I think sometimes you got to decide where, what pressures you want in your life.
Exactly right. And the other day I just walked around the arena for 30 minutes and I had a big smile the whole time. I was going to cuss, but I forgot we're not in the auditor show.
Well, I'm glad that that'll be exciting to hear that, actually. That'll be.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, obviously for selfish reasons, but also, really like 14, 15 people reached out. And so I know that there's many more than that who struggle with that. So I'm just really, really happy.
Very good. All right, let's hear from Chewy, and then we're going to go to our guest, Dr. Mack.
Managing your horse's medications doesn't have to be complicated. Chewy makes it simple. Just add your horse's prescription to your cart and check out with your vet's information. Chewy handles the rest by reaching out to your vet for approval and shipping your order right to the barn in just a few days. From allergy relief to joint support, everything your horse needs is just a few clicks away. Plus, Chewy's licensed pharmacists are available 24/7 if you have any questions. Visit chewy.com/equine to get started today. For trusted care delivered for life with horses, there's Chewy. With everything happening in the country right now, especially all the fires, we thought it would be a good time to speak with Dr. Mack of the First Responders Veterinary Network. Dr. Mack, welcome to the show. And my first question is going to be, what exactly is the First Responders Veterinary Network?
So it was something that recently I came up with, probably started over the winter. I'm on a volunteer fire department and I wasn't on the call, but the chief told me about it like the next day. And he's like, we discussed it and he said, too bad you're not on it. And I'm kind of like, well, I'm the human guy, not the animal guy. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, it'd really be nice if we could have had a vet that we could have just, called up or had dispatch call and come out and, check things out. Right. And I won't go into too much detail because, obviously privacy and calls and stuff are in the industry. But anyway, all worked out well. No harm, but one of those things where you kind of go, yeah, it would have been nice to have a veterinarian there. So I started researching it, and they used to have a SART stuff about 20 years ago, but it was kind of regional, multi-county, mainly was around vet schools. Mm-hmm. Still have that. UC Davis has a program. University of Florida has one, but Iowa State has, just our county, Story County. But nobody looked at doing this nationwide. And being in the fire service and also EMT and my background in civil affairs with the South Carolina State Guard and my military background, I kind of looked at it and thought, well, this is a gap. We get these structure fires, motor vehicle collisions, the more obvious, the livestock or horse trailers, are a lot more obvious, on the highway. Mm-hmm. But I started thinking, there's really no group that's trained to really handle this. So there is some groups, there's probably about a dozen that do natural disaster, tornado, hurricane, a day or two after the event or day after the event, that kind of thing. And there's AVMA, the Vet Medical Association has 400 plus trained vets in that, but nobody's joining a volunteer fire department as a special medical responder to help out with this. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where we came in. Started it in March. First national article was early May, and I think you guys are podcast 7 or 8.
Wow, that's amazing. That's wonderful. So March, April, May, June, July, August. So about 5 or 6 months you've been on the road. How has adoption been?
Yeah, it's so obviously, you start a nonprofit at a national level. It's a lot of lift. The volunteerism in America kind of has changed since COVID. Mm-hmm. And, people are more on their screens and it's harder to get volunteers. But we have 35 vets that initially contacted us and about 28 vet techs that are interested. We have one firefighter that's a vet. We have another gentleman that's a veterinarian that has worked with state level emergencies, state police, that kind of thing for situations, emergency kind of stuff. He has actual mobile surgical trailer. So he's pretty far into it. We have our first lady vet who's working with her first fire department to get things started where she's not a firefighter. She's not EMT. She's just like, I'm the vet. So when you have those calls, page me, I can come in and work with you guys. So they understand the incident command, what the fire ground kind of looks like, who to talk to, where to be, in relation to the whole workflow on fire ground.
So is the idea that it's going to come from 911? Eventually your hope that 911 calls the fire department, calls the EMT, and calls the vet?
Well, the workflow would be like this. So, we get software, Active 911, I Am Responding are pretty large, and we get a lot of data on that now. Like if you get an MVC, motor vehicle collision, they pull information from the DMV and a bunch of other stuff, and we can actually see a lot of information on the people involved potentially. And with that, you can say, hey, it's myself and our passenger, we just got in a wreck. I got 2 horses. And at that point, that would all be recorded on 911, go to the closest station. And, you as a responding, officer, captain, or chief, you're going to look at that and go, ooh, horse trailer wreck. Okay. Hey, dispatch, truck 3's en route. Can you page the vet, meet us on scene? And the idea is the county has 5 or 6 veterinarians, hopefully a few large. I'll try to gear it toward horses because I had horses years ago. And, they'd page, these 2 are large, we'll page them. It sends it out. They look at it, can I respond? They hit, I'll respond on scene. It tracks where they're located, shows the chief immediately how far out they are. Wow. So then they roll up, have the gear and basically take over the, and work with the horses while they're doing extrication on the driver and the passenger.
I mean, that would be ideal across the country, wouldn't it? I mean, that would be the ideal thing. And there is such a delay. Dr. Jimenez runs a program where she trains first responders how to rescue horses and get them out of situations and things like that. But there is such a delay a lot of times in getting the vet there, and a horse might need tranquilized or whatever, right? For whatever the situation calls for. And that delay can be critical sometimes.
Yeah, and this fits in with that model. So we call those technical response teams, and you can have anything from close quarters to swift water rescues and, high angle rope rescue teams and all that stuff. And they're very trained. And you do have groups of them that are training to do that. But yeah, you definitely, I think the pinnacle of care is, you have a large animal vet, licensed in the state. They got the drugs in the vet box. They can sedate the horse, like you said, or take care of anything, and then guide the team, on the anatomical aspects of lifting the animal and so on and so forth. And I think you're probably going to get the best results if you have both of those going in something like that.
I think where I see the problem, maybe Ashley's thinking this too, where I see the issue is there's such a lack right now of large animal vets. Our vet, by the way, just drove out the driveway from visiting our horses. So, this is ironic we're having this conversation. But there's such that it might be hard to find vets that would even be able to do this.
It is, and I haven't made any donations to Rood and Riddle or Haggard's in a while. But I had sport horses in Kentucky.
Apparently, I just did make a donation, actually. So.
Oh, okay. But we're looking at it. The numbers on horse trailers are in the 4 digits. Our best information shows about maybe 4,000 to 5,000 incidents nationwide per year. Structure fires are 500,000. That's documented.
Wow, that's huge.
And we think livestock, cows, pigs, etc., are a hair bigger, a hair larger than the equine.
You would think
so equine's relatively small,
right? So
Pardon?
They haul them all the time, so that makes sense.
Well, yeah, and that's commercial and that's that kind of thing. What we're thinking the big one is you look at the amount of people that are taking their dogs to the stores, traveling with their dogs and cats and RVs. Just all that going because the dynamics change. The retired vets are like, yeah, I remember when dogs were in the backyard. Now they're in people's bedrooms. Mm-hmm. And we think that number is somewhere between 1.2 and 1.4 million motor vehicle collisions
with dogs
that have an animal in the vehicle. So the majority of it is small animal. The equine stuff is a lot harder, obviously.
Yeah, right. The size of everything.
The size of the animal.
And they're in their own vehicle. Really.
Yeah. Right. There's the trailer. Yeah. There's the horses.
Yeah, and I used to have heavy horses. I trailered a Percheron mare from the Midwest to Alaska.
I'm a Percheron guy, so I'm happy
I
to hear
saw that you drove. So, yeah, if you look up 2009 Kentucky Horse Park, the Rolex, my carriage and a pair of Morgans took the judges in.
Oh, wow.
So, small world.
Oh,
But yeah, the idea is the nonprofit, the majority of it is going to go towards supplying the jump bags to the vets and, all the gear inside and the oxygen and, all the stuff that we need. So we're still developing, what that looks like. There's really no pre-hospital vet, clinical guidelines. It's just really hasn't been developed. Usually it's right at the practice. So you're in a quote unquote hospital environment by then. So I was talking to some special operations guys yesterday and on another call, we were talking about it and, how it relates to trauma combat casualty care and TCC and all that kind of stuff and kind of coming up with new doctrine and new methods of it. And I said, yeah, we're starting there. So, we have to develop that. We have to develop the large and the small. The jump bags for that aren't cheap. It's over $2,000 a vet with the PPE. Yeah, so we're trying to get it down to 24.
It'd be great if you could get in December to the AEP conference and actually get to speak there. That would be great. Then you would be talking to all of them at the same time.
Right. I'm moderating a lot of equine stuff this weekend at Western Vet in Nashville.
Okay.
So we got our booth down there and we're going to do that for our initial launch. But yeah, I think you're right. I think there's a shortage of probably large and it is hard work. If you're a large animal vet and, no matter what species you're doing, that's a lot of just labor intensive work.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Dr. Mack, how can we help get it adopted in our areas? What can we do as listeners? Just share this interview with our vets?
Well, yeah, great question. So it's kind of almost like what I did in civil affairs. We're matching up, interventions, after a disaster with, what we call COADs and VOADs, volunteer organizations. So what we're doing in this case is we're taking veterinarians at a county level is our model. And we're matching them up to volunteer fire departments. And there's two levels. If the fire department isn't comfortable, they don't necessarily want to change some SOPs right away to, put a special medical responder in the mix, they can do an indirect where we basically, have the vets available. We have their phone numbers. They can actually, call. We could put them, depending on what the county wants, we can put them on the CAD system so the 911 operators can see their phone number and at least, call them directly and say, hey, this is what's going on. The direct model is, they're on the roster for the volunteer fire department, and they respond to, and they train with for specific applications or incidents. But yeah, going back to how we could help, get in touch with us, and we can start looking at the departments, making some reach out to fire chiefs or emergency management at the county level.
This has all been wonderful and clearly a need, as you stated, there's a gap. So folks, you can find more information, get in contact with Dr. Mack at www.frvn.org. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Mack.
Thank you.
As horse owners, we have an unlimited supply of love for our animals, but we tend to underestimate the cost of their care. Routine and unexpected expenses can quickly add up, making it hard to keep pace. So wouldn't it feel great to be prepared with a budget-friendly way to manage these costs? The Care Credit Health and Animal Care Credit Card can help give you financial peace of mind. With flexible financing from Care Credit, you get to care your horse needs and then pay over time in easy monthly payments. You can use Care Credit at more than 25,000 veterinary hospitals. That accept the card, and you can pay for everything from annual exams, vaccinations, parasite controls, procedures, nutrition diagnostics, and surgery. My small animal also takes it. Large, small, they don't care. Care Credit, it's your card for a lifetime of care, subject to credit approval. To learn more and apply, visit carecredit.com/horses and pets.
So, Ashley, for the first time, do you look at your spam ever?
I don't. I want to check now just to see if I have any gems.
I had 1,000 in there, and this is my work spam, and I didn't realize I had that many in there. And a lot of it is stuff that probably shouldn't be in spam that I don't know how it got there, right? Magazines writing to you and things. It's legitimate emails, but they just are in spam. And then there's the others, right? The ones who are really trying to take you for all your money.
Oh, Glenn, I found a good one. Not as good as yours.
You want to do yours first, or you want me to do mine first?
It's like one line.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Do yours.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to be dramatic. Subject line. I am donating $4.8 million to you.
That's it?
My name is Mr. Cheng Se-fan from the United States, and I am donating $4,800,000 to you from my lottery winning, Oregon's lottery 1.3 billion Powerball winner. For more information, contact my private emails.
I beat you, though. My amount's higher.
Ah, no fair.
Okay, this is long, but bear with me because I think it's worth it. This is from Richard Gelman, who's the chairman and chief executive officer of the National Bank of New York City. And I actually looked this up, and he is the chairman of the New York Bank of New York City, the National Bank of New York City. He is the chairman. The new directors of the National Bank of New York City, Richard Gelman, chairman and CEO, and I did look it up, he's been chairman for about 20 years. Chairman and CEO write to you today because of I'm going to try and say this, read it exactly as it's written. It's going to be hard.
Yes.
Write to you today because of the program on your fund released to you, and if you didn't claim it before 7 days, it would be confiscated. There's a bad ad for you. Our office is determined to complete your fund transfer in accordance with payment policy. We wish to inform you through this medium that we are working hard to arrest all of the hoodlums and sue the unauthorized officials who attempted to divert your approved funds and have been extorting money from the innocent individuals globally and ruining our reputation.
Oh, the hoodlums. Okay. Nobody's said that since 1952.
I have no idea where the hoodlums come into this. I really don't. I have no idea who the hoodlums are. And I have no idea. We are giving you 100% assurance with guarantee the successful receipt of your fund to be successfully transferred within 2 hours upon confirmation receipt of the below instruction. Note this only requirement needed to do nothing more.
Okay, because that makes perfect sense.
Okay, now you're ready for this?
Ready.
You know, when you tell somebody that wins $4 million, you think, "Oh, that's just ridiculous." When if the email had said 25,000, it becomes more believable, right?
Right. Totally.
Okay. Kindly be informed that your total fund is now 800 billion United States dollars. The U.S. Treasury Department has warned National Bank of New York City to cancel your transfer since you are not ready to comply with the required fee due to your lack of understanding and negative thought that makes you not achieve your dream to success in claiming your fund. As CEO, I will advise you to comply immediately to enable us to complete your transaction within 4-hour. But the punctuation is so bad in this. But if you don't want to receive your fund through bank wire transfer, we are going to issue you an ATM card and mailed it to you, but you must secure the requirement, so follow the instruction right away for your future success. So,
I love that you have a negative mindset about this. Like, this is all your fault. This is all your fault.
What's really crazy is I'm going to get an ATM card with $800 billion. I'm not done. The National Bank of New York City, USA, controlling department has issued a security transfer code, which
Glenn, don't say it out loud.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I can't say it out loud. I don't want anybody else to get it. It's my $800 billion. The authentication code... I can't even read it. The authentication section code of this bank concludes the verification of your file. Well, I'm glad. After going through all the documents of claim received by this department with justification and verification from the Global Strategy United States, we are completely satisfied and you have been confirmed to claim your fund.
But
they just
said that you are not in. Very confused.
I'm very
glad that
I'm approved.
That the department, whoever the department is, and the global strategy of the United States is satisfied.
Considering, we're not done. Considering the volume of your payment, it is right for us to seek for the approval of some money regulatory boards here in the United States before we carry out the transfer of an amount such magnitude to anybody. Otherwise, any such transfer will be stopped by authorities, and the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, and FBI, etc., approval documents from the concerned authorities here in the United States are needed to avoid stoppage once the transfer is carried out, and for that reason, you are required to pay the fee. This money will be used by our bank attorney to obtain all the necessary documents that will enable the final transfer of your funds.
So they want you to pay them so they can give you the
$800 billion. That's correct. And they're correct. They're requesting my delivery address, a copy of my ID, my bank address, my routing number, all of that stuff. This is what they're.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that's what they're requesting. And by the way, the fee is not absorbent. If I want to do a bank transfer, it's only $100. If I want an ATM card delivery, that's $50. Or I can send a cashier's check for $50. So it's not absorbent.
Or a Bitcoin.
Or a Bitcoin.
Night.
And then it goes on and on and on. But you get the gist.
You could pay with an Apple gift card.
Yes, I could pay with a gift card. That's correct.
Well, there you go. Oh, and look at this. The CEO, as aforementioned, is in Kampala, Uganda.
And I love that the email address is PNC Bank, which is a not even the same bank, right? It's
Nope.
New York. It's the National Bank in New York City. It's PNC Bank at email.zz, which, by the way,
Which
is
is
Czechoslovakia.
Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. What a journey.
I just had to read this. It was so good. This was so good. It had everything.
Wow.
It just had everything. It had bad
I mean, there were the
spelling.
bad guys.
Yeah, I know.
There was the FBI. $800 billion.
They congratulated me and insulted me all in the same paragraph.
This is wild.
I haven't had a chance to go through the rest of the 1,000 emails, but I'm sure I have some other good ones in there. But I'm really disappointed that the Russian supermodels are no longer wanting to marry me.
Oh, well, maybe Jen put some filters on your email.
Yeah, could be. Those seem to have stopped since Russia got in the war and Russia shut off the internet. I seem to have stopped getting the Russian supermodels.
Weird.
Seeing they can't get to the internet anymore. I'm sure you guys all have really good ones too. So thank you for bearing with us today. That was kind of weird news right there.
Yeah, it was weird.
And really bad ads and everything all into one. So we'll be back on Friday with a new episode for you. Actually, we're going to hear from somebody who's on the grounds over there in Aachen. We have a couple of guests for you. One is involved in eventing and the other dressage. So we'll do that on Friday. And then Jamie should be back next week sometime, depending on when she wants to come home, I guess. I guess Lucas must start school soon. She's going to have to come home at some point, right? Auditors, hang on. I have something else to rant about in the post show. Thank you, Ashley.
Bye, G.